Morning has come, arise and greet the day. Dance with joy and sing a song of gladness. The light of hope here shines upon each face. May it bring faith to guide our journey home.
Morning has come, arise and greet the day. Dance with joy and sing a song of gladness. The light of hope here
Good morning. Awfully nice to see y'all here. This is All Souls, in case you have forgotten. All Souls Shreveport, to be specific, because there are many All Souls churches in this tradition all over the country. Anyway, this is a church built on covenant, not creed. We're here together, bound by our agreements and promises of who we try to be with one another and in the world, rather than what we believe about some ultimate things, or our opinions for that matter. That's a challenge. Still, we are here to learn from one another and to help build beloved community in a broader context. To that end, whoever you are, whatever your age, race, origin, orientation, background, status, ability, identity, if you care to be here with us, you are welcome. I am going to ask the permission of everyone here to remove my mask while I'm in the pulpit. If you are uncomfortable with that, please raise your hand. Okay, thank you very much. We are still requiring masks in our attendances and vaccinations, as best I know. Numbers are again on the rise in Caddo. The new variant is the most contagious yet. Anyway, I wish all of us safe. Every week we hear of people who have been safe, done what they can, and they're still getting it, so please be careful. I want to front load this service with a little bit of information, so I'm inviting one of our board members to come and give you a few announcements. Rebecca Tuggle, please.
Thank you, Barbara. Thank y'all. Good morning. Oh, that's the bad thing about these. You don't know how many earrings I have lost because of those. Oh, okay. So, our Volunteer of the Month. We always choose someone as the Volunteer of the Month that's done the most for the church, or at least we're recognizing them for this month. Somebody we probably haven't recognized in a while is Steve Caldwell. Steve, in addition to being webmaster for All Souls, this is something that I don't think gets pointed out enough. He's an instructor for OWL, Our Whole Lives, Comprehensive Sexual Education. And he's been doing that for over a decade. So for that, if nothing else, but he does so much for this church. So Steve, let's give it up for Steve. Including being out there with us when we do clinic escorting out at Hope. So we love Steve. Giveaway the plate for this month is Gingerbread House Child Advocacy Center. They provide forensic investigation on child sexual abuse cases and documentation of testimony so the child isn't re-traumatized over and over again having to give that same testimony. They also educate the community on preventing and recognizing and reporting child abuse and counseling for life to victims and their families, so they do an awful lot. Zoom lunches are continuing on Tuesdays at noon, so meet up with your All Soul friends, bring your lunch or don't, it's up to you. Larry Andros is still doing his Saturday sitting Buddhist meditations at 10:30 Saturday mornings. And of course, the Highland Blessing Dinner, we host the first Thursdays of the month, but those go on Thursdays. I know there's been some back and forth as to in-person pickup and that kind of thing, and I'm not all that sure about all of that, but you can always go on our website, allsoulshreveport.org, and find out information on all of these things as well as many others, including a way to contribute. We no longer do ushers and pass the baskets around here, so we've got the baskets stationed at the back of the sanctuary for anybody that would like to donate. All donations are welcome. Thank you very much.
Hi,
Hi, good morning. I'm Susan Caldwell. I'm Director of Religious Education here, and I wanted to tell you about something kind of exciting that's going on in religious education. Our middle and high school group through the summer has been working with a wonderful artist, Maggie Molisi, to they're going to redo parts of our mural that are in existence, but they're also going to add to the mural, and they've actually sketched out the design that the kids have come up with on the back wall. If you haven't been by to see the sketched out design, they are more than likely, this is what we're planning on, going to start painting during their class time next week. And I don't know, the plans are not all solidified yet, but I think at some point we're actually going to have a potluck after church and invite adults who want to work on the mural to do so also, to really kind of make this a community project. So I encourage you to think about joining us to help with that. Or just if we have a potluck, just come and eat, regardless, of course. But we'll let you know more in the emails as to whether that's next week or afterward. But we hope you will help us out with that. Also, I did want to piggyback on what Rebecca was saying. The Highland Blessing Dinner is in person now every week. And we're starting, it's been very low attendance for a long time, but we are starting to get bigger crowds in the last couple of weeks. And we especially often serve a lot of the immigrants that are passing through the Highland Center while they're waiting for their tickets to wherever they're going to go to join their families or sponsors. So the crowd is starting to build up again, and we really encourage you to come out and help. And one more thing. And I'll put out the registration and all the information this week, but Gary Renard is coming back. He is an author and teacher who's really well known, particularly to the Course in Miracles people. He is an interpreter and teacher of that course for many years now, and he has come to do workshops here a number of years ago, but it's been a while since he's been here, and he will be doing an all-day workshop here on Saturday, August 20th. So if you're interested in knowing more, we're going to have the information up this week. So thank you very much.
So let's let ourselves get here. Even behind your mask, catch a breath. Maybe relax your shoulders. Let your feet feel the ground. And let the seat hold you. Let your whole self come into this place that we make holy by our presence. Come in with your vulnerabilities and strengths, fears and anxieties, loves, hopes, disappointments. For here you need not hide, nor pretend, nor be anything other than who you are and are called to be. Come into this place where we can touch and be touched, heal and be healed, forgive and be forgiven. Come into this place where the ordinary is sanctified, the human is celebrated, and the compassionate is expected. Let us pause now to remind ourselves this time is ours. For this hour, in this space that we've created together, we have only to attend our own breath. May we feel safe enough to let the weight of the world be suspended, if only for a short while, so that we might catch our breath and feel the weight of our own thoughts, the gravity of our own power. May we be fully present, fully inhabit our time together. Let us reach the place of self, the place that is not alien to truth. Let us wash over with peace and serenity, with fierce longing for light and heart, with living strength flowing in our veins, bringing ourselves into fearlessness and into trust. Do we have a chalice lighter for the first portion this morning?
To celebrate Unitarian Universalism. This is the church of the open mind. This is the church of the helping hands. This is the church of the loving heart. Together with hands and heart, we care for the earth and for each other.
Thank you. Do you want to light the chalice? Thank you. Just snuff it out of there. Thank you, sir. I continue to put out fires. In a time of uncertainty, when everything around us is changing constantly and substantially, when the world we live in suddenly, again, seems upside down and topsy-turvy, we light our chalice to remind ourselves of our grounding in our faith. We remember that the flaming chalice came into being as a beacon of hope during World War II, a secret symbol that offered help. In the midst of it all, we wrap ourselves in the warm light of a familiar flame, a reminder of the strength that emerges when we come together in community. We light this flame to ignite the sacred power of justice. We light this flame so that it may be a beacon of hope in moments of uncertainty, fear, anxiety, and the unknown. We light this flame and are emboldened by its blaze, knowing our strength as a prophetic and powerful people is rooted in the diverse ways we answer the call to love. As we have noted here before, the word courage comes from the Latin cor, which means heart. According to poet Mark Nepo, the original use of the word courage meant to stand by one's own core, a striking concept that reinforces the belief found in almost every tradition that living from the center is what enables us to face whatever life has to offer.
To encourage means to hearten, to impart strength and confidence. This is our work as a religious community, to encourage one another, to be bold in engaging the world around us, as well as what scares us internally, to give one another the confidence and heart to live as fully as possible.
The words are on the screen if you will join me for the last part of this. With full hearts, we affirm our relationships with one another. We recognize our agency and our connective power, and we accept our responsibility to be bold and courageous. We light this chalice, symbol of all that we are, all that we have done together, and all that we will be as our shared ministry encourages those within and beyond our walls. Would you please rise in body or spirit and join me in the unison affirmation? Love is the doctrine of this church. The quest for truth is its sacrament, and service is its prayer. To dwell together in peace, to seek knowledge and freedom, to serve human need, to the end that all souls shall grow into harmony with the sacred. Thus do we covenant with each other. Our opening hymn is When the Spirit Says Do. If you want to look in a hymnal, it's number 1024 in the teal hymnal. But the words will be on the screen. Thank you for remaining standing. Do when the Spirit says do. You got to do when the Spirit says do. When the Spirit says do, you got to do, oh Lord. You got to do when the Spirit says do. 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 You got to sing when the Spirit says sing. You got to sing when the Spirit says sing. When the Spirit says sing, you got to sing, oh Lord. You got to sing when the Spirit says sing. 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 You got to dance when the Spirit says dance. You got to dance when the Spirit says dance. When the Spirit says dance, you got to dance, oh Lord. You got to dance when the Spirit says dance. 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 You got to laugh when the Spirit says laugh. You got to laugh when the Spirit says laugh. When the Spirit says laugh, you gotta laugh. Laugh when the Spirit says laugh. 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 You got to shout. It says shout. You got to shout when the Spirit says shout. When the Spirit says shout, you got to shout, oh Lord. You got to shout when the Spirit says shout. 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 When the Spirit says do, you got to do when the Spirit says do. When the Spirit says do, you got to do, oh Lord. You got to do when the Spirit says do. 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 Thank you, Miss Susan, for a lovely job on the piano. Thank you, congregation.
Good morning again. And I've finally reached the point where that one's fun now. And I know any musicians can relate to that when you've reached that point. So thank you for that. So my story this morning, let's see, we've got the picture up. The story this morning is a man and his gold. And the story is not about this particular lump of gold, but I just want to tell you this is actually what was known as the welcome nugget that was discovered in Australia, and that was like over 2,000 troy ounces, which are slightly bigger than a regular ounce. They're an ounce that's used to measure precious minerals. I learned all of this stuff just finding a picture of a lump of gold. But that's not what the story is about. I just wanted to give you a little background on the picture. So yeah, thank you, Brittany. That's great. So there was once a man long ago. He was very rich. He was very wealthy. And he owned lots of things, and he loved his things. But even more, he loved gold. And eventually he sold pretty much everything he had. He maybe kept some food around so he didn't die or whatever, but he sold pretty much everything and for gold, and then had it all melted down into a big lump of gold, just like the one that I just showed you. And he took this lump of gold and he took it kind of to the outskirts of town, to this place where he liked to go and just sit and be by himself, and he buried it in the ground, and then he just sat there every day by the spot, just admiring and celebrating and being thankful for his big lump of gold. Well, they tell you sometimes if you travel in certain patterns every day that you might want to vary those, because sure enough, there was a thief that was watching him every day and said, I see this guy. He goes out to the outskirts of town and he sits every day. There must be something really special about that spot. So one day when the man had left, the thief went and started digging. And sure enough, the thief found this huge, humongous lump of gold and figured out a way to get it out of there and stole it, took it. Well, the man came back, and he was so upset that his gold was gone. And he started crying and wailing and screaming and saying, "Oh, I can't believe my gold is gone." And it was so loud that a woman kind of walking by not far away heard him, and she went over and said, "What is all this about?" And he said, "Well, I had this lump," and she knew the man, she kind of knew him, and she said, "What is this about?" He says, my gold, my most precious thing in the world has been stolen." And she looked at the hole in the ground where the gold had been, and she looked at the man, and she said, just put up a stone that says, "This is where my gold was," and just come and look at that every day, because for all the good you were doing with it, the stone will be just the same. The point is, all of you have gifts and talents, and that's your gold. And the way that you do good in the world with that gold is to use your gifts and talents. We need you. This church needs your gifts, the things that you feel that you can do, that you can contribute. The church needs you. The city, the nation, the world needs you and your gifts. So please don't keep your gold buried in the ground. Use it for the good of yourself and everybody. Thanks.
You sing the kids out. Peace, may the spirit of love surround you everywhere, everywhere you may go. I'm going to pass out some pencils. I'm going to pass out some pencils and little scraps of paper. I would ask each of you to take one. And I'll tell you what they're for in a while. Spirit of wonder, sacred mystery, collective and transcendent, as more than the sum of its parts, of our parts. We feel you moving among us, the presence of a blessing, for we are in need of strength and courage. So we too, as individuals and as a congregation, may find we are more than the sum of our parts. Our road is filled with rocks, with boulders strewn, boulders so high we sometimes wonder whether we can climb them. We are in need of comfort and encouragement. We long for a cooling hand upon the forehead, the still voice whispering in our hearts, it's all right. Even now, all manner of things will be well. We are in need of cheerleading. When we see what is to be done for others, for our lovely earth, and for those we love, we would hear your voice shouting at us to get moving as we sit here in this lovely, loving room. Let us realize that this spirit of encouragement, comfort, and love is always at our core, within ourselves and within this congregation. We are the instruments of good that abounds. May we feel the Spirit and carry it with us all our days. Let us now, in the holy quiet, listen for the voice of love within our hearts to guide us, inspire us, and renew us for service. Spirit of life and love, we are here because we believe what we do matters. We are here because we believe how we live our life matters. That with every act of kindness or meanness, courage or fear, love or hate, we are weaving the fabric of the universe that holds us all. Yes, seeking encouragement and strength, we gather, because so often we get distracted. We get in a rush. We don't think. We choose the easy way when the harder path is, more often than we might wish, what truth calls us to, and sometimes also that which our spirit truly longs for. We are here because none of us is perfect, but together we inspire one another to try again, to take another step. We are here because we have felt the stirrings of love and grace in our hearts and hands, and we crave more of that for ourselves, and not only for ourselves, for everyone. Belonging, purpose. We are here because how we live matters. May our thoughts be filled with light of hope or peace, of joy in the knowing we are not alone, and our every word matters. In the words of Christopher Robin, always remember you are braver than you believe, stronger than you seem, and smarter than you think. Rest for a moment.
I still believe, though it's hard now. Help helps me to find some things that will lead me away from doubt. A conscious choice to try and find a calmer voice, remembering the softer place, like the smile on my mama's face. I still believe in the middle of my darkest days. I promise myself not to lose my way, at least not for long. That's why I sat down to write this song. It's a conscious choice to try and find my higher voice. And I won't look away from all the trouble in the world today. What makes my heart sink? Mostly it's just the weight of the darker things that I think. So it's a conscious choice to try and find my loving voice and stay in the softest place, for there lies a saving grace. I still believe, even if it's harder now. Even if it's harder now.
I want to thank Steve Fisher for that song. He's one of the people I've met through the years where I go in the summer to the music festival. That was recorded live at my little campsite. So he has given me permission to use his music, and he is one of my gurus. So I do want to thank him for that. This past week, there was an interfaith gathering of ministers from a number of, and leaders, like union leaders, the director of the Highland Center Ministries, a number of different people, for a dinner. And Nathaniel Wills, who is the new organizer for this area, asked us a question and gave us time to think about it. And then it was what we shared with each other, because we're trying to build relationships. And there are a number of new organizations that are part of Interfaith now. Those of you who came to the gathering at Brown Chapel may have recognized that if you've been involved before. But the question that Nathaniel asked us was to think about what's one strength that we bring to this effort, one thing that we have that we bring to this effort, our collective effort. And then what's one weakness that we need to be mindful of in our collective effort. Now, the first thing that the first respondee offered was overcommitment. And Nathaniel said, every one of us can answer that. So that's been said, nobody else can give that answer. But the pieces of paper that I handed out and the pencils are for you to think about and write down, if you will, what's a strength or skill that you bring to this community? And what's something that you think you need to be mindful of in our working together and building community? What I would like is for us to begin really being aware of what things we think we're good at that we might want to contribute to a community, so that when things come up for us to do together, we can ask somebody that might actually enjoy that piece of the puzzle. And also so that we can start learning one another and find our way to a more compassionate, beloved community. You can fold them up and put them in the baskets in the back if you are willing to share them at the end of the service. That overcommitting is certainly one significant reason we may, upon occasion, fail to follow through with some of the things we initially say we're willing to do or be a part of or are interested in or are willing to keep an eye on. Our intentions are good, but we're so worn down and weary that it's hard to live up to all we say we'll do the way we used to even. Have any of you found it a great deal more difficult to follow through with things you initially had heart for? Have you found since the pandemic, since the last president, since January 6th, since ... whatever has been strenuous and disheartening in your own life or family, to follow through on what you may, even just in passing, have said you're going to do or said okay about? We're tired. If you're not, share some of that. But we have a tendency, I think, to find it easier to do things ourselves than to delegate. But we don't have the energy to do it ourselves anymore. We don't have the same, I don't know what to call it. Things have done a good job of tapping us. And if we want to be effective, if we want to address some of these things that absolutely need our care, need our attention, need our love, need time and energy, we're going to need to get better at working together. It's hard to catch your breath, isn't it? It's exhausting to stare into the wounds that surround us. And know, as John Lewis reminded us years ago, if not us, who? And if not now, when? We're needed, folks. And to know that is enough almost to make it cry. We've also reached a different kind of intersection. For 3 or 4 decades, we worked to help people understand their own worth. We labored at helping people understand they are unique and unrepeatable. And then we've started trying to transition to you're unique and unrepeatable, and you're just like everybody else. Knowing how much value each of us has is an important message. And there are a lot of us that still need to remember that. Still, since we are Unitarian Universalists, we are often on the leading edge of carrying that message. We were early adopters of that message, and we got really good at it. You know, follow your bliss. No one is more important than you are. If you can't take care of yourself, you can't take care of anyone else. Put your own oxygen mask on first. The paradox of that message, set against the weariness of the times, the glaring need for engagement, the gaping wounds I mentioned of the times, that must be attended before the lifeblood of freedom, of privacy, of autonomy, and democracy run dry. The paradox brings us back to asking new, more accurate assessment of our capacities and our efficiency in our use of time and energy. Strengths and weaknesses. How do we make it less arduous? How do we make our systems stronger? How do we organize better? The ones who are willing to follow rigid leadership organize a whole lot better than those who know how valuable they are. It's the truth, isn't it? We have to make conscious choice, like Steve Fisher was saying, to listen to our higher voices. And sometimes our higher voice is saying we have to listen to other people whether we want to or not. But we also have to admit we can't do it alone. I think people from this congregation are doing an incredible job of working with the ICE releases, the immigrants. We've got a number of folks from the congregation that are actively engaged in helping transport and providing necessities for those people. I think as part of sponsor circles, we're doing a great job with, we've got an Afghan family now housed and furnished in a man who was a UN translator in his family. People that worked with the United States and had to leave Afghanistan. I think we're doing an amazing job with North Louisiana Interfaith. There are things we accomplish with that group and Together Louisiana that we could not do alone and that are very important. While we reasonably do what we can to renew our spirits, let our spirits be renewed. There are a few things we might keep in mind. Now, last week, and usually every week, I talk about an obligation to be mindful of connecting with something bigger than us, finding a way to feel a part of that whole that somehow transcends the news that's overwhelming. or the tasks that can look so overwhelming. And yes, I understand, like when we're talking about follow through, what our word is worth when we say we're going to do something. Our intentions are good, and I understand contracts can be broken, agreements can be renegotiated. If there is a chance someone is counting on us, or even looking forward to just seeing us, or maybe having our assistance, we need to own what we've said, and after first making our best effort to do exactly what we said we would, then let people know if we won't be able to follow through. Sometimes we can assume somebody else is going to pick up the pieces. Those somebody else's are a whole lot fewer than they used to be. And there are a whole lot more things to get done. If this happens frequently, because you're overcommitting yourself, then work on that first. Get better at saying no, mindful of how much needs to be done, but be honest about what your own capacities are. After first making your best effort, let people know if you can't make it. Don't overextend yourself, because we are worn out. We're here to learn from one another and to teach one another, to comfort and to celebrate. We can't do that easily when we're not together. This has for generations been a village that raised incredible children. Children have to be able to trust what their parents tell them, or the people that raise them, what they tell them, or they learn not to trust. Since we are each other's teachers, we have to be able to trust what we tell each other. We need to remember that our words begin to lose value when our actions don't match them. We owe one another our best efforts. That is something from which we don't retire. It may be reconfigured because our capacities change, including our endurance. But we don't retire from giving our best effort. Not just our best intentions. Effort is the best indicator of interest. If we're genuinely interested in the future, if we're genuinely interested in the future of this congregation, of this nation, of the planet, interested in the well-being of others, interested in the well-being of one another, we will make every effort to let our actions speak and our words mirror that. Interest, words, effort. Epictetus, who lived in the 1st century, said, "Follow through on all your generous impulses. Do not question them, especially if a friend needs you. Act on his, her, their behalf." I included there. Epictetus wasn't quite there yet. Do not hesitate. Don't sit around speculating about the possible problems or dangers. As long as you let your reason lead the way, you will be safe. It's our duty to stand by our friends in their hour of need. We're partners in this. You are amazing people. Every single face in here. Some have been a part of this church going on half a century. More than a few others have only found us since the pandemic. Many of you have given a noble measure of devotion for decades. Don't stop now. In all the things that fill our lives, all the struggles we face, we can help one another. We got to be better at asking for help. We need to get better at knowing one another's strengths. I would love to collect those and then sit down and have a powwow about it. I'm afraid I can't do that today. I have some pressing things after church. But we can help. And I'm sure you know your gifts can help all of us in return. We can help you. You can help us. Our strengths and weaknesses can create an unbelievable power. Strengths and weaknesses. Agitation occurs inside relationship. Irritation occurs outside relationship. Let's learn to be agitated rather than irritated. Say what you mean to say. There's a great deal in a word. Let our words inspire our actions. James Baldwin said, to act is to be committed, and to be committed is to be in danger. As I was working on this week, my mantra has kind of been, always someone marches brave here beneath my skin. Katie Lang, Constant Craving. We can't use her song for the closing, so we will use Fire of Commitment. If you will rise in body or spirit and sing that with us, please. From the light of days remembered burns a beacon bright and clear, guiding hands and hearts and spirits into faith set free from fear. When the fire of commitment sets our mind and soul ablaze, when our hunger and our passion Thank you. Please be seated. I guess I should mention that strengths and weaknesses can be the same thing. I told the ministers that one of my strengths is actually noticing things that are like weak spots. And Nathaniel said, and I have an example. When she got here, she noticed that, we knew our number was going to be fewer than originally planned, and the tables were set up in a way so that we would be far away from each other. And I asked the people, the staff, if they could move the tables closer, and Nathaniel was just saying, that's the kind of thing that I see. And at the same time, something I have to be mindful about is that I see what's wrong with the picture more easily sometimes than how beautiful the picture is. And I need to be reminded of that. Cheerleading is not an automatic thing for me. And there are people in this community for whom that is an automatic thing. Balance. Anyway, into our world we commend our spirits. May the strength we have gained in this communal hour sustain us as we resume the work that is at hand. Go in peace, for the arc of the universe is long, and we can help build it, bend it toward justice. Go in courage, for together we have the strength to confront injustice in our daily lives and the larger world. Go in love, because a holy and generous love is both the reason and the means by which we transform our lives. And now, since the struggle deepens, since evil abides and good does not yet easily prosper, let us gather what strength we have, what confidence and valor that our small victories may end in triumph, and the world awaited be a world attained. May the blessings of life be upon us each and upon the congregation. May the love that we share, the love that's bigger than us all, bring strength and joy to our hearts, and the peace of this community be with us until we meet again. I love y'all. It's awfully nice to see you. Go in peace.
Round me